And we're live. Welcome to Tea Time with Tech Marketing Leaders. I'm your host, Carrie Gard, CEO and co-founder of MKG Marketing. And today we have the unicorn of cybersecurity content, Laura Kenner. Laura's hacked her way from tech trenches to content machine mastermind. She's the hacker of success, driving ROI-obsessed GTM strategies for B2B SaaS brands. Get ready for insights powered by her AI-accelerated engine, real-world scrappiness, and a passion that turns code into compelling stories. Laura, you ready to deal the first hand?
I am. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Carrie. And wow, that was
So
a
excited.
fabulous introduction.
It's all heart and part of having a podcast sidekick who I appreciate. Thank you, Elijah, for getting us geared up here. Before we dive in, Laura, we've been playing around where we have a game first
Ooh,
to introduce the topic. I know.
okay.
It's very exciting. We're going to warm up with a little game that I'm calling True or False Vulnerability Rapid Fire. While I think of a better name, Elijah's going to have a timer going behind the scenes. I'll
Okay.
toss out a cybersecurity fact or fiction, and you've got 3 seconds to shout out true or false, then 10 seconds to explain why.
No
Oh boy.
pressure.
Okay. All right. Phew.
No
All
pressure.
right. Let's do this.
So, cybersecurity fact or fiction, and then you're going to tell us why you think it's fact or fiction.
Okay.
If you pause too long or hit the clock, you'll hear Elijah. Still give
That's
that
fine.
lightning fast take.
Okay.
We're improvising with the
All right.
sounds.
We are. It's going to be great. Elijah, you ready with the timer?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Laura, are you ready to answer the questions?
I think so. Let's try.
Oh dear.
All right. Fact or fiction? AI copy tools always produce robotic text.
Oh, darn. I'm going to say yes. True.
That's true.
Oh, true. Okay. 10 seconds. Why?
Because just the tool alone, yes, that's what you're going to get. If there isn't human in the loop, if you're not providing a lot of context yourself, if you're just saying, give me a blog, that is what you're going to get. It's going to be generic. It's going to be fluff. It's going to be boring.
Close enough.
So, yeah.
Yeah. We'll unpack that later, folks. Don't you
Yes,
worry.
we
All right.
can
Next question. Short form social media content can't drive real conversations. Fact or fiction?
Oh, fiction.
It's good.
10 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, so jump into why. Short form can start conversations, and in fact, it can be sometimes more effective than the long form. I see these super long posts. I'm not sure if you're like deeply following someone or deeply into the topic, you might read that something like that all the way through. But when you're on social media, you're probably expecting shorter form content, but it has to be, it's got to have some punch. It's got to have some emotional, points to it, something that grabs the audience attention and makes them want to react to it and want to respond and want to have a conversation. So that's the real trick in that, but it can be short and sweet, short.
Ghostwriting can never capture an executive's true voice.
Ooh, false. Fiction.
Fiction.
So,
Okay. 10 seconds.
Okay, because as long as the ghostwriter makes the effort to really get to know the executive and their personality, their background, the things they care about, the series of interviews with them, as much as you can to get to know them, you can capture their voice. A good ghostwriter can do that effectively.
I may know one.
Yes.
Cloud computing services are inherently insecure.
Oh gosh. Oh boy, fact. Because it's my understanding there's a lot of sort of built-in basic controls, right, in your public cloud systems that everybody uses, but they aren't enough. I've worked for enough different types of products and understand all the places that they lack. And really, the cloud environment is a rented space, right? And you're running all of your systems there, and you ultimately are responsible for making sure that everything you are running there stays safe. That's not the responsibility of your cloud provider. So, yeah.
I don't know. Subject matter expert driven thought leadership is too niche for most audiences.
No, that's fiction. God, subject matter experts are the drivers of real conversation and real facts and real, what I like to call boots on the ground experience. Like, they know what's going on, so they're not generating fluff like a GPT might do, or even a writer who's not well informed about the topic might do.
Man, Elijah, I'm struggling with this because I want to respond. All right, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick to the game.
I want to do the timer. There's such good stuff coming out. I don't want to interrupt Laura's thoughts. It's good.
I know we have so many thoughts. We're going to unpack it all in a second, guys. Hang on to your hats. Long-form content. Long-form content is dead for SEO and engagement.
Oh no, fiction. Long-form content is excellent when you really need to, educate and dig into a topic, but again, it needs to have a purpose. Just pumping out white papers or long, boring webinars or that kind of thing. If it doesn't have a strong purpose and if people aren't getting something from it, if they don't have something to take away, if it doesn't become like a reference that they want to go back to, if it doesn't become a light bulb moment and they learn something and take something away from it, then yeah, it's useless. But it can be very effective.
Agreed. Canva made visuals look unprofessional to decision makers.
I'm sorry?
Canva made visuals look unprofessional to decision makers.
Huh. No, I'm going to say fiction. Because first of all, I love Canva. It enables people like me who are not a designer to do some things, like get some basic things out quickly. It doesn't replace a designer and a brand leader in your company, but it just allows your broader team to do some things. And especially, you let your designer get in there and do some templates and then let the rest of the team go from there. Yeah, you can have an effective visual brand that's consistent using your extended team of non-designers.
Agreed. Startup GTM playbooks don't work in cybersecurity.
Oh gosh, I'm not sure what that means. So,
all right, let's skip that one. Last question. You need a paid budget to make social content scroll stopping. You need a paid budget to make social content scroll stopping.
False. Because, I'm thinking it from the point of like a solopreneur like myself. I can create content. It is my time. My time is time and effort are going into that. So if you're a company hiring someone paying someone to do this, then yes, there's a cost there.
Right.
But it can be done. It can be personally very scrappy, and organic is my jam, and it's free except for your time and effort and knowledge. It can be very effective.
All right. That is the end. Thank you, Laura Kenner, our resident cybersecurity unicorn, for your amazing insights and being such an amazing friend. I appreciate you. All right. We got some questions here that we're going to get into in terms of the topic. We unpacked a lot there around what Laura's superpowers really are, and now we're going to dig into it. My first question for you, Laura, is what sparked your journey from cybersecurity expert to hacker of success in marketing?
Well, it was a road I didn't plan to take, but that's how life is, right? For a lot of people. So I'll start with, I was a midlife career changer. Okay. I worked as basically medical office support type roles for many years. I wasn't happy. I wasn't going anywhere. And I decided to get a degree in cybersecurity. And I graduated with a degree in May of 2022. And while doing that, I had a baby, and it was very exciting years back. In 2020, I'm sorry, it happened in the middle of me. Like, I graduated with my associate's degree in 2020. No marching down stage for me or anything like that. A lot of drama. The whole world fell off that. So I got the degree. I wanted to be part of tech. I wanted to be part of cybersecurity, the whole good guy, bad guy, the defense of the nation, defense of our data, defense of our privacy, these were things that were important to me, and I just wanted to be part of it. So I got the degree, and I was technically trained to be an analyst, like a security analyst or a SOC analyst. Really could have gone multiple directions because it's sort of a general degree. And I have certifications in cybersecurity, CompTIA, Sec Plus, and Network Plus. And I keep those up because I want to keep my tech hands still in the soup. In the soup, that doesn't make any sense. I want to keep my tech hands in the clay or whatever.
Yes.
So I got the degree, and the thing is, before I didn't go looking for work in marketing. I thought I was going to be an analyst. But before I graduated, I'll never forget this. 3 weeks before I graduated, I was like, I don't even have the degree yet. I was approached by a company looking for a technical marketing specialist. And to be honest, I almost didn't respond to the email. I thought it was a scam. But they found me on LinkedIn. So this is a huge plug for LinkedIn. I did know then that I needed to optimize my LinkedIn. Because it was a challenge to change what LinkedIn was showing me and who was finding me, because it just wanted to show me all of the medical, hospital, doctor's offices kinds of connections. And I wanted to move into this new world. So I found that I needed to start getting those keywords in there and my certifications in there. And it worked. And they found me. And I was very happy that opportunity was presented. And I took it with, open arms. I was very excited about it because I had this technical training, but I also have always loved writing, communicating. Like, that's just always been my jam. So now I could do both. I could take technical topics and speak to a variety of audiences. That is what I'm good at. And this was the perfect job for me. So that was my first job in this field. That was about a little over 3 years ago. And I just grew from there. And so the marketing side, I've learned basically on the job, from paying attention and from listening to people and, learning as much as I can. I'm basically a sponge. So that's how
I love
got
that. I mean, you have to be a sponge in marketing because it's always changing so quickly too. I mean, I think we're all learning.
Exactly. I didn't want to cut you off, but that's exactly why I wanted to be in cybersecurity. My old role was stagnant, and I knew cybersecurity was never going to be stagnant because there's always new technology, always new challenges, like the whole good guy, bad guy battle. Whatever you do, whatever the defenders do, all offenders are going to find a way to get through it, and the game continues. So it's a very exciting field to be in general. And marketing, it turns out, has a lot of those aspects too, because we can get into this later, but it feels like the landscape is shifting under our feet basically daily. So the old playbooks, as they say, just stop kind of being effective. They stop working. So you're always looking for something new, and that's how my brain works.
Yeah, I wonder if the playbooks ever really worked, or if we just kept pounding the same nail to make it work, and now we can't make it work anymore. We're gonna get into it, folks.
Yes.
What does a content machine with a cybersecurity engine look like in practice?
So I was dubbed the content machine at my former company because I could quickly and effectively get out good content, and I did on a regular basis. And it starts with, like I said, my technical training. I could work with product management, product marketing and sales, and try to really hone in on what the piece of content is for, what's the purpose, make it effective, all of those things. And once I understand that, I'm kind of a machine. I just understand how to put the things together to meet the need and get it done. So
it sounds like your expertise in cyber as well, from having your degrees and sort of starting. You mentioned it earlier in the rapid questions of the boots on the ground and that firsthand experience of that deep expertise. I imagine that gave you sort of that leg up of being able to quickly whip out content because you were in that seat.
Yes, to understand the product probably better than maybe the average person who hasn't had any cybersecurity training. I do encourage that for most people working in cyber. I notice more and more sales and marketing and go-to-market teams people are taking the initiative to learn, at least get certifications and that kind of thing, because it's a very technically tough field to be in, and you need to understand what you're talking about or you can't talk about it effectively. So the cybersecurity engine is my training. Behind the content machine is my writing skills, my content skills. So that's what that means.
Where did your content and writing skills come from? You said that it was a passion of yours and something you really loved, but where did you learn that? Was that just something you self-taught and just did a lot, and then you were able to use it more in that first marketing job? Or did that come with your previous experience in medical? Like, where did that originate from?
Basically, I've sort of always been a writer. I think probably a lot of people can relate to that. I just always, those are the classes I got A's in. That's the classes I loved. And surprisingly, my technical degree, I didn't think there would be much writing in it, but there was a lot of writing in every class, which made me happy because that's how I most effectively communicate. So I guess it's partly natural, but also learning the type of writing and the type of writing needed for marketing and selling a product that I basically learned on the job from my peers. Yeah, from watching them, but I'm a quick study.
And how do you tailor messaging for technical versus non-technical audiences? It is we mentioned it, very technical industry. Do you always sort of lean into that and speak their language? Do you also are you also trying to meet other people who are maybe not as technical but need to know this stuff? How are you balancing those?
Oh gosh, well, for technical audiences, I try to put myself in their shoes. Now, I can't call myself a boots on the ground. I've never actually worked as an analyst. I haven't actually had that experience. I was simply trained. So at least I understand the language that they use and I understand, the general topics, but I try to give them what I think they want, and also communicating with the SMEs on the team, like communicating with customer success and salespeople. Okay, what are you hearing? What are you hearing from prospects? What are you hearing from customers that they like about the product? And try to take those messages and get them out to the curious, the audience. So the technical audience is going to want to know more about what can they do with it? How's that going to help? How's it going to help them in their day-to-day lives? Is this going to make their life more complex? Try to address the objections that they're going to have as users. Usually the end users are more worried about, how long is the onboarding? How is this going to work with my other tools? So I try to address those concerns up front. Whereas for the business buyer, they're more worried about, is this going to save me time and money? And, what's in it for me? And is it going to reduce my risk significantly? Is this something I even need to be concerned about? So you do education on that side.
It sounds like you're playing very much into that problem solution sort of messaging, depending on who you're talking to. Am I picking up what you're putting down there?
Yeah, I would say that's true. Yes.
In terms of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that lovely FUD thing that I haven't talked so much about, but I feel like I'm having this problem myself, where when you talk problem solution, it tends to naturally fall into creating a bit of worry and fear and uncertainty, just naturally, right? You're talking about the problem and then trying to create and paint this little glorious, wonderful dream solution of how we're going to save the day. How are you navigating messaging in regards to that? Do you find that you do have to sort of poke the bear with the problem of these are the potential problems that you could face that does happen to create fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or do you pivot and make it more like a positive outcome? How do you navigate the world of FUD in this wonderful world of messaging?
Yeah, I hear you. What's running through my head? I'm deeply against fear mongering. I feel like there's too much of that in this industry, and really vendors should avoid that kind of speak. You have to remember the people you're talking to, they're very aware of the cybersecurity threats. This is what they do all day, every day. You're basically insulting their intelligence when you're coming in with, all this threat stories and fear mongering. And it's disrespectful to what they do. What they want to know, their fear is really, can I get my job done effectively? Can I support and protect the business I work for? That's their fears. So they aren't. So I just try to avoid that kind of language altogether and try to speak to them about the practical. I try to be very down to earth and on their level, and not this product's going to solve all your problems. It's going to be glorious, and not oversell either, because people sense that, they know that, avoid that sort of sensationalism. I try to avoid that too. I just try to take a very down to earth tack and think about what do they care about on the job, and what are they trying to get done, and what are they trying to accomplish? How do I do this with your tool? Where do I find that with your tool? And try to get into those rather than practical advice, rather than, if you don't get this, you're going to be taken out by the next ransomware. It's disrespectful, I think.
I totally agree. Yes. So how do you breathe? Because you talked about needing to create connection and vulnerability, and not vulnerability in terms of cybersecurity vulnerability, but vulnerability in terms of emotion and connection. And how do you marry the practical with also getting somebody to feel and connect to the brand as well?
Oh, I feel like I need like an example in front of me. I work a lot better like case by case basis, but I think we were.
Do you have any stories of like an existing brand that you've worked with where you've done that?
Well, I feel like I do it all the time, but I can't think of any specific examples right now. When it comes to social media posts, I try to at least have a strong hook. It's not always emotional. That can be hard to do consistently, especially for technical products. And it's not always what I'm trying to do. It's usually a lot of content that I put out for companies is educational. It's more about awareness. It's more about lighting a light bulb, but it's not necessarily going to be an emotional connection. The emotional connection that's sort of bigger. It's sort of part of your brand, and that's harder to figure out. And that's teamwork. I think you've got to all be on board with. We want people to feel this way about our product. That's really hard for me to do without something like, give me an assignment and I'll do it. But for me to talk about in a general way, I think it's hard for me to nail down.
All good. I appreciate you for pulling that apart for us as much as you could, and maybe a story will pop in and you'll cut me off and we'll dive right back in. And if not, that's okay too. I'm gonna keep
over, but
all good. I'm gonna keep cruising. What makes Bootstrap GTM strategy different from traditional agency models?
Oh gosh. I think, my content strategy, because Bootstrap Cyber Media, that's me. It's just me. It's not an agency. My approach is just, like I've said, very down to earth, very practical, very kind of scrappy. I lean heavily. What I know best is organic reach. Working with SEO teams to help draw people to the website. I'm pretty good at that, writing content for that. I dare say. I've successfully done that before. And on social, and just, I feel like my approach is a little less try the next shiny thing, or try to be like the competitors, or try, copycat methods. I just try to, is this going to be effective? What are we trying to do with this content? What's our plan? What stage are they at is very important. Like a very early startup that basically is figuring out their brand is different than a more established startup that is long been established, but trying to make some pivots. So it's different kinds of challenges in different spaces. So I just try to think those things through and be practical and a little bit scrappy, and try to be, by scrappy, I mean, be as effective as you can with what you can do organically. Of course, you're going to need ads. You're going to need paid and the syndicated and all the things. But you've really got to, your organic should be strong. There's no reason that it shouldn't be.
It's the foundation. It's the base.
Yes.
Yeah. In terms of, the go-to-market is sort of a big thing right now. It's the new shine. I don't want to say shiny. I think it's the basis. It's sort of that before the marketing plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that huge step back and that big sort of, how does this all fit together? Right. It sounds like your go-to-market strategy is very much content driven, which is, I believe, the glue.
Yes.
Well,
I'm a content specialist, so to be fair, I'm biased when it comes to that. That is what I do. But I do feel like this is just, it's the voice of your company. It's what everyone sees. It's not just, it's the writing, it's your blog, it's your videos, it's your advertising, it's everything expressed to the public is your content, right? So it is very important, and it's key, but I understand that that's not the whole go-to-market engine. But I do strongly believe, and this is another one of my pillars of, I guess, my strategy, is that sales, the whole go-to-market team needs to work together, and they need to communicate, because there's a lot of breakdown. And I hear a lot, everybody saying this, right? We need to be aligned. That really needs to come from leadership, or it's not going to happen, right? So the first go-to-market hire, the first people in charge of setting up the first hires and the systems needs to see that and enable it and encourage it. And it shouldn't be sales and marketing meet up once a month and sales talks about their numbers and marketing talks about their numbers. That's not the kind of conversations that are really helpful. Like, it's not about showing off what you're doing. It's about, hey, what are you hearing over there, sales? What are you hearing from prospects? You're out on the street. You're talking to people all the time. You have valuable information we could use over here in marketing. Maybe we'll better understand how to speak, about the products. Maybe we're going off on a tangent over here that's not working at all. You're doing something else over here that is working on the street, right? So we need to be communicating. And then customer success, same thing. How are the customers feel about this product? What do they like about it? What do they not like about it? Without that information, I hate the ChatGPT word, but it just came in my head, flying blind. I'm flying blind without that information. So really, teamwork makes the dream work, right? And go-to-market strategy is tough. It's tough. It's a tough market, and I'm not here to claim that I'm an expert. I'm 3 years deep into this industry, and I'm learning, and I have made it my mission to learn everything I can about what makes a company successful. Like, what really, you take two very similar companies of a very similar niche, what makes one rise above the other? Like, what is that? I'm trying to solve that problem, both through my work for companies and through the Bootstrap cyber community that I have started, because I feel like that will help enable communication between all the people, and maybe we can figure some things out along the way. There's power in community. So
absolutely. And learning together. I love what you said. There's so much we can learn from as the marketing team from the different teams internally, because they all touch the customer differently. And really what we're learning, and what I've been learning and working with Elijah for the last 6 months, is that story is really the backbone to the success of any sort of marketing go-to-market, where we're all sort of rallying around the same branding, the same stories, the same why us, to your point. And so being able to talk cross-functionally and learn from each other and what those customer success stories are, is that bread and butter to everything that you do from a content perspective. So I don't know how you would get that information if you weren't talking to the people who are talking to the customer on a regular basis.
Marketing can be so disconnected from that. Like, you can come to find out that what your customers say about your products has nothing to do with what you're marketing over here. So that disconnect, that's a road to failure. So I'm just saying, try to communicate, try to be on the same page. And what you said about stories, the story, especially for small startups, I love working for a small startup. I love working for startups. I have the startup bug. It's tough. It's challenging. It's flying the plane while building it, right? It's stressful, but it's also very exciting. And it's this huge opportunity to, like, okay, let me take what I know and work with other people, and let's try to make this thing fly, right? So that's very exciting. But that story, there's a reason why the founders, and this gets lost, there's a reason why the founders started the company in the first place. They saw a problem they thought they could solve. They probably have a very specific person in mind, a very specific audience in mind. They experienced something on the job, perhaps back in the day, usually former technical people themselves, and they built this thing to solve a problem. But as the go-to-market team spins up and everybody kind of comes in with their own ideas and objectives, and, well, this worked at my former company, the story gets lost. And I think, you got to hold on to that. So that's important.
Agreed. Elijah's actually going to interview me for the podcast, because I am taking a break. And sorry, Elijah, I'm spilling your tea, because I think that's important. And I agree that our stories as founders definitely get lost in the sauce. So I'm both excited and a little nervous being put in the hot seat, but yes, I'm excited to share our story as we began in 15 years ago. So it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
You talked about data and that being part of the glue that sort of holds the organization together from a GTM standpoint. How do you measure the ROI of content in a cybersecurity context?
It basically comes down to SEO for the website content. And I work closely with the SEO team. I'm not myself an SEO expert, but I know enough to be dangerous is what I say. I understand the basic concepts. If you give me an SEO goal to write to, I'll nail it. That's what I do. But when it comes to social media, that's harder. When it comes to like YouTube, that's harder. When it comes to video ads, CTV, things I'm seeing that I think companies should start getting into a little bit more over here on the video side. Those can be harder, but there's always metrics somewhere. There's always, gosh, it's so challenging. Two things I'd like to talk about are LinkedIn and YouTube. I'm a little obsessed with both of those, and companies like to use those, especially LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is so frustrating because, sure, you can get some engagements, but that's like vanity metrics, right? What I'm really looking for when I'm working for a company is that not the same employees and same like friends of the company are engaging, but that new people and potentially your ICP are starting to engage. That's where it's like, ding, 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 something's working. Like that content's making its way out of your little circle and finding the right people. So that's the huge challenge. And that's not really anything to do with the likes or the reshares. It's just a lot of people just sort of, they pay attention to your content and don't necessarily engage with it, but they might come to you someday and say something. So that becomes like hearsay. It can be really hard to prove.
It's totally brand building. It totally is. One of my favorite metrics in that, and it's hard to do with startups because you're so new, but it's something to start paying attention to and then look at over time is are more people searching for your brand name? So is your brand search volume growing? Now, you don't know why that's growing, especially if you're doing a lot, but if you're doing one thing like LinkedIn and video, and that's sort of the only play you're making, then looking at how that might be impacting are more people searching for you is one leading indicator that I quite enjoy.
I would think so. And it's a strong start. I think LinkedIn's a strong start. For B2B, there's really no better hub, I guess, to start with.
Yeah, I do love, Elijah asks me all the time, like when he's looking at what we're posting on cross channels, one of the things he's looking at, and we always talk about is who's new that liked or engaged with the content. So it's sort of that ABM motion and thinking through that I think is killer, and totally agree with that. What advice do you have for founders with zero marketing budget? Where should they start? Or what should they stop doing?
Oh boy. Well, I'm a founder with zero marketing budget. By that, I mean, I'm a consultant and that's my paid work, but for the Bootstrap cyber community, that's a passion project. That's not making any money. And I spend a lot of time on it. Maybe it will someday. I'll monetize and all of that, but that's a slow process and I don't have a lot of time to dedicate to it because, client work comes first. But so I'm just taking what I know. It's also a proof of concept. Like, okay, I'm a marketer. I can do all these things for other companies, the companies I work for. Let me apply what I know to my own, I don't want to call it a business, but my own community and see what I can do. So creating content, build a website, writing the blog, making the videos, doing the LinkedIn posts, all the things. The newsletter, which I realize I'm way behind on. All the things. And it's time consuming. It's a lot. So if you're, you got no budget, it's your time and effort. And try to have some strategy though. You can't be 10 places at once. Even though you want to, it's hard. So I focus on LinkedIn and YouTube and my website. And that's a lot. It's enough. So, choose your battles, pick your battleground and try to be at least consistently there and participating and, connections. I can't say enough about networking and connections and communicating with other people, especially on LinkedIn. It's not just about you shouting at the crowd. It's about you participating in conversations. That's what really builds your trust and relationship with other people. So that can really help your business too. So if you're starting with zero, it's down to you, and you've got to find the time and have a plan and just get at it. Yeah.
You gotta feed the machine. I talk about LinkedIn and feeding the machine all the time. It's, to your point, it's not just about, I think I just read a stat from Alex, who owns a company called Aware, where you can use their platform to easily post and engage with the audience, with your audience. It's an awesome tool. But he just posted that you need to be engaging with other people's content daily, 50 times a day. 50 different
I've heard
comments,
a similar,
50 comments a day.
I think I might have listened to the same thing. Like I follow, was it
Alex Boyd?
Boyd. Yeah. Alex Boyd. Oh, I'm sorry. I might have been thinking of somebody else, but I follow a lot of people, especially, anybody. If they don't have to be in cybersecurity business, right? I just follow people who make sense to me, who are talking about marketing and sales and and content and what's effective. And I've learned from so many different genres that I feel like I can bring it back home. And that's part of what I'm doing too with my own content, is take these lessons that I am picking up and figuring out how to apply them to the cybersecurity go-to-market team, because I feel like we're a little bit behind. I feel like we're a little behind all of the hot trends right now. And like, for some reason, a little bit resistant to doing some things that, I don't know, outside of our niche companies are doing. So, yes, I heard the same thing. Like, it's more effective now. And I think I'm starting to experiment with this, and I feel like it's true. LinkedIn is changing. Like, that's one of those landscapes that shifts under our feet all the time. We're, slaves to the algorithm, I guess. And that's very frustrating, but you do the best with what you got, right? It's still the best platform to be. So you still have to be there and figure out how to make it work. So I am finding that commenting is very effective. And now, as a person, going in and commenting builds trust with you and potentially sideways to your brand. But as a company page going in and making a lot of comments, I haven't figured out how to navigate that yet. That's a little bit tricky, because it's a company logo popping into a combo, it immediately feels salesy. So, and it can be off-putting. So that's a delicate dance there, but you better have something. You better come to the table with something to say or something that adds to the conversation. That's all I know.
I could tangent there. I'm not going to.
Sorry, I can go on.
No. I love. I totally agree. LinkedIn is definitely tectonic right now in terms of how it's shifting under us. I actually just read a post from somebody today she's got 88,000 followers. She started the concept around hype women, #hypewomen. She started the meme with Jamie Lee Curtis, who like, I forget who it was, but they were both up for Oscars. This other woman won the Oscar, and she just like hugged her and cheered. It was like so excited. So Erin's kind of a big deal. Maybe you follow her, I don't know, but she's leaving LinkedIn and going to Substack. She's like, I'll still be here. You can still connect with me, but I'm taking my content elsewhere because I'm tired of LinkedIn basically strong-arming me and not getting my content in front of people. And so I think that frustration sort of coming through. I was having that frustration earlier this year where I was like, I'm posting, I'm doing all of the things, I'm commenting, I'm engaging with people, but like nobody's seeing the thing. And then I hired an expert storyteller, and he helped me find my voice that wasn't so, when I write very technically and kind of cold. And so he helped me take my actual voice of how I talk and translate into posts. And now things are like going crazy. So I agree with you. LinkedIn is a tricky one. I think if you're a founder and you're struggling with it, don't just bang your head against a wall. Bring somebody in who's doing the thing and doing it well and can help you figure out how to get it to work for you, so you don't feel like you're working against it. It's just one of those things. It's where you need to be right now.
Right. When you mentioned no budget, it's all you. But what you said there, though, that's working, it's really that it's more genuine, it's coming off as more human, not as maybe you tend to write a little bit stiff, or I'm not sure how to characterize it, but try to
that's right.
write your post like you would talk to a person. And that's you gotta remember that.
Yes. I totally agree. I love that.
Sometimes I'm just trying to get something out and don't put much heart into it, and it goes nowhere. but sometimes I put everything into it, right? Like this thing, whatever it is really important to me, and I put a lot of time and effort in thinking about what I'm going to write, and try to be as real as I can, and try to be down to earth and all the things I believe in. And it just goes nowhere. And it's so frustrating. Like, it's starting to feel, I don't blame people for leaving or for trying other avenues, because it's starting to feel like high effort, low results. So, LinkedIn, come on.
Yeah.
What are you doing to us? What are you doing to us?
Authenticity is totally true. So if you're a founder and you're on the struggle bus with LinkedIn and you feel like you're posting all the time, our two pieces of I think between Laura and I, we have two pieces of advice. One is start commenting, start engaging with the community, get in there. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on your customers' content. Influencers are great, people who you aspire to. Just start engaging. And two, find your authentic voice. I love to send videos to Elijah, and then he helps me deconstruct them and then write the post in my talking voice versus my writing voice.
Yes.
And that has made a huge difference. So lots of great avenues to develop authentic content. If you're stuck, try something different. I think the one thing we've learned, Laura, between the two of us talking here, is to not keep taking the same hammer and the same nail and just banging away. You got to keep iterating and pushing and pulling. Yeah.
I mean, we're all working for a living, right? And we're trying to get things done, and we're trying to get things out. It can be hard to take a breath, step back, take a look, and you're like, to have that moment to even realize, what, I've got to change something. What the hammer is not working. Like, why isn't this working? It takes that moment to break out of it. But you're totally right. You're totally right.
I do have one last question. I could keep going. I really have like 5 questions. I'm being a little pickier now. But I want to know, because because SEO is so important to you, and it's been something that's worked so well for you for so long. How are you combating that in terms of geo? Like, geo's coming into play now. Have you changed your strategy from a content perspective? Are you seeing our engagement on your website go down? Like, you're getting less clicks and views to your website because of geo? How is geo playing a role in your SEO strategy?
I'm not in charge of SEO, but I do work with the SEO team. But I will say I'm paying attention to things. Everybody's losing traffic. And I think that's going to continue. From what I'm seeing, there's more and more generative answers, and people are going directly to the AIs to get answers. And I'm hearing that the ways to get found by them is to be brand mentions, basically. So your blog and your own company page on social are probably a little less effective. The machines are still going to read those, but what they seem to trust more is what people are saying over on Reddit, or what other people on social are saying about you and linking back to you. So, how do you make that happen? That's actually something like swirling in my head right now. You can't just jump into Reddit and be like, our product's great, blah, 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 like that. You'll be shut down immediately. So it's about drumming up buzz, I guess, drumming up conversation, getting people to talk about you. And that can be really hard when you're a small company, and just even trying to get people to know that you exist, let alone talk about you. Like, I think of the old country song, like, give them something to talk about. Let's give them something to talk about. Like, that seems to be one of the keys to get found. But, I don't have that all figured out. I think we're all learning as we go. I do think I haven't changed the way I write or what I do, because I do think quality, helpful content is always going to be useful. So, and it's going to get found. It's just getting less organic traffic from search.
Yeah. All right, one more. I can't help myself. What's one myth about AI assisted copywriting you want to bust?
A myth about it? Gosh. Is that it's awful. It's automatically going to be awful. There's no way it can be impactful and effective, but it can, because what matters isn't the AI. What matters is the human in the driver's seat, the human in the loop. Yes, if you just sit back and say, write me some ad copy, write me a web page based on this. Yeah, it's going to be generic. It's going to be awful. But if you're a writer, you know what's wrong with it. you know immediately what's wrong with it. And you can sit there and have a conversation with it, and it learns. So one of the powers of these tools is the more you work with them, the more they learn how you want things done. So then more of my writerness becomes part of the machine, and it starts anticipating what I'm going to say. Like, no, I don't like that. That's too salesy. I don't like that. That's too stiff. I don't like that. That's too fear mongering. Things like this, and it does learn. So, and then I still ultimately I'm in control of the end result, and I know what I want out of it. So I could get into it as a whole. I've basically forced the machine through my own writing process, everything I would do. But that's not something like that's tricky when it comes to like generative, not generative. I'm sorry, agentic. Like I'm not sure how I would teach at this point an agentic workflow that would actually work. But I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about trying it. Yeah.
I want to circle back with you on that because I think there's a big myth floating around right now about agentic not really being there yet for anybody to figure out. There's people who claim that they've done it, but when people actually go to use it, they say it's still too willy-nilly. It's still making up so much and not actually doing the thing that needs you to do. So I'm gonna see as you dabble. We're gonna circle back on that, Laura.
There are so many tools and it's overwhelming, and I've tried things. I did my first, I'm so proud of myself though. I did my first 2-step zap on Zapier. And it was for free. I'm like, let me try it. I know nothing about coding. All right. That was not part of my training. And I'm like, trying all these things. I'm having conversations with ChatGPT. What's the best thing? And kept coming back to Zapier. I'm like, fine. So I get in there. One problem I have, I subscribe to all these emails. I subscribe to all these newsletters because these are people I follow that give me ideas for content and teach me things. And I want to collect all that goodness and find topics to talk about for my own content for Bootstrap Cyber. Well, that's a long, time-consuming process, reading all those emails and taking notes and figuring out what aligns with my brand and so on. So I built a 2-step zap. Read all emails tagged with this tag and pull all points related to blah, 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 and give it information about what my brand likes to talk about, the topics my brand talks about. And put it into this document in my Google Docs and put out, it does it. It did it. And I was like, oh, I like literal jaw drop. I'm like, oh my God, I have the power. Like I was like drunk with power. I'm like, what? And it like saved me so much time. I'm like, wow, that alone, that one little zap, like this is something I do want to experiment with. But the trick ultimately is still going to be, how do I get workflows? And there's a difference between automation and agentic too. Mm-hmm. Agentic's when you let it make decisions for you, which I feel nervous about that still. But workflows, automation for some tedious tasks like that, like sorting through a ton of emails and pulling out the good bits, that's a huge time saver, and I see a lot of value in that. So I'll be playing with that as I go forward.
Oh, workflows. I totally agree. Workflows, there is power in that. If you have the time to really like figure it out, there is huge power in workflows. So again, Laura, I'm going to follow up with you. I feel like, damn. Yeah, we're gonna follow. If people want to learn more about things like this and follow your content, now that you're going to start teaching us all about AI workflows, where can they find you? Where can they subscribe?
Oh gosh, well, follow me on LinkedIn, Laura Kenner, and check out my YouTube at Bootstrap Cyber, and on LinkedIn. Oh, I also have bootstrapcyber.com is my website, and then my home ground, so you can always contact me there.
So good. Laura, before we go, my last question for you is, because you are more than a marketer, I'd love to know, outside of marketing, what is currently bringing you joy in your personal life?
Oh gosh, see, I knew you were going to ask this question. And like, the answer I want to give is my child, my son. He's the light of my life. Love him so much. But that feels too like everybody would say that. So one of the weird things I find relaxing and enjoyable is I'm a huge Aldi nerd. Aldi, the grocery store. It's a discount grocery store, is growing like wildfire here in America, and I've been going there for years. But there's like a whole culture around it now, and I follow Facebook groups, Aldi groups, Aldi Aisle of Shame groups. If you're familiar with the Aisle of Shame, well, it's a little grocery store, and they have the Aisle of Shame is their Aldi finds, and it changes every week, every Wednesday. So Aldi nerds, we call ourselves, know this, and it makes like a treasure hunt. So you go in there and every week there's something new in this Hall of Shame. And it could be anything from like a food processor to a pair of shorts or socks or something, like really random household goods. I would say mostly household goods, sometimes clothing. And all in all, over the year, that Hall of Shame changes. We call it the Hall of Shame because like that's where you blow your budget. You're like, well, like don't look. When you poster, how'd they know that? But yeah, I like to, when I have time, to just go down and stroll and see what's in the Hall of Shame and see if there's anything I don't need that I want. But they're just
at least you're getting out. That's better than the 2 a.m. Amazon of shame, which
oh, I do that too. Yeah, I didn't need that. Or I'll even sometimes forget. I'm like, I surprise myself. I'm like, oh, that was in my cart. Apparently, I ordered it. Oh yeah.
Oh, we have all been there. Yes. Especially when you have kids and you're up with them in the middle of the night. It's just what happens.
I think
I love that.
Because I'm a mom, even to go to the grocery store alone, and that's the key though. It's not with little man. I love him to death, but little man, why are we here? You know, without the drama, like just stroll around, take my time. I find it relaxing.
I love that. And now I'm going to go check out Aldi because I've never heard of it, and I'm going to go down that rabbit hole, and I can't wait. That's
they're so fun.
Thank you so much, Laura. I so appreciate you. What an episode. Our resident cybersecurity unicorn, for your amazing insights and being such an amazing friend to the MKG team. If you loved this episode, brew another cup and binge these tea time hits through our SSS feed. Episode 12, where we were scaling pipeline first through paid media, learn how to engineer ads that actually convert. As well as episode 8 teaches you to SEO secrets in the Cloud Security Pro. We dive into priority pruning and SERP feature wins. Last but certainly not least, I'll leave you with episode 5, where remote leadership meets marketing, explore the art of crafting culture in a hybrid world. All of these details will be in our show notes for you to explore. I'm Carrie Gard, host of Tea Time with Tech Marketing Leaders. This episode is powered by MKG. You manage the details. We manage the details. You capture the market. See you next time.
Thank you. Love the music.